Plural nouns in English. Now, we do actually have rules for these, but there's a trick, there's a catch. There always is in English pronunciation. We'll get to that. A noun in English is made plural when we add an S or ES to the end of the word. Guess what? This is the third person conjugation of verbs too, so everything you learn here for the pronunciation of plural nouns applies to the third person conjugation. Yay! 2 for 1. For S, we add a letter and a sound. Cat becomes cats. Dog becomes dogs. But listen, cats, dogs, 2 different pronunciations of that plural S. But then with certain words like beach, the plural adds an extra syllable. Beaches is. When to use which pronunciation. And what's that trick I told you about at the beginning? Use the S sound, like cat becoming cats, if the final sound of the noun is p, t, k, f, or th. Did you notice what all of those sounds have in common? P, t, k, f, th. They're all unvoiced. There's no vibration in my vocal cords making that happen. That's a voiced TH. These are all unvoiced. The S is also unvoiced, so the unvoiced S pronunciation goes with these unvoiced sounds. Cats, ships, books, coughs. Now look there, the final letter is an H, and that's not on our list, but we're talking about final sounds, and the final sound of cough is F. Cough, coughs. There were quite a few coughs in the audience, but I think we got a good recording of the concert. And finally, the unvoiced TH, like in paths, paths. THS is a tricky combination and one that I get questions about quite a bit. Tongue tip just out to tongue tip just in. For the S, the tongue tip can be pointing up or down. I find it feels more natural to point down. One of the most common plural nouns, THS ending, is months. And good news, it has a shortcut. Instead of saying months, most native speakers change that TH to a T and say months. He's 6 months old. Months. A little easier than THS. Cough is a noun or a verb, third person conjugation coughs. He coughs a lot. Remember, the third person conjugation follows the same rule. So since the verb ends in f, this S is unvoiced s, coughs, coughs. One final thing to say about case 1, next words. If the next word begins with an S, you're just making one S sound to link there. For example, the students sit here. Students sit, students sit. One S to link, to connect those words. If the next word begins with a Z, that beginning sound takes over the plural and we more or less drop the S sound. For example, the cat zipped around the house. Cats zipped become cat zipped. Just link with the one Z sound. Okay, case 1, done. Case 2 is where it gets a little tricky with our habits. Before we get into that, I want to call your attention to a new YouTube feature, Super Thanks, that allows you to give a small donation to my channel for a specific video. This allows me not only to feel your support and appreciation, but to know what videos are the most valuable to you. So the next time you're watching a video that you love, hit that Super Thanks button. Proceeds will be going towards a new camera for my channel. In case 2, the final sound is any vowel or diphthong, or one of these consonants. And that plural is pronounced as a Z sound. So let's take chair as our example. Chairs. Ending sound is a Z. Do you hear that? The vocal cords vibrate Z, making the difference between Z and S. I'll alternate those two sounds for you. S, Z, S, Z, S, Z. So this ending here in case 2 is a Z. Z, chairs. Except we don't actually pronounce it that way. It's written in IPA with the Z sound, and yet it's not really a Z sound. Let's explore. I am using a voice recording app on my phone. I've recorded the word chair with a clear, strong Z sound, chairs. Also a clear, strong S sound, chairs. Both sound unnatural. Then I've recorded it the way we say it, chairs. Now what we see here, these blue lines, are the pitch, the note of the vibration of my vocal cords. When a sound is unvoiced, like S, you don't see any blue line. But if we see a blue line, it's voiced, it's Z, a Z. This first one here is me saying chairs with an exaggerated Z sound, Z, Z, a really strong, clear Z. Let's listen. Chairs, Z. And if I bring my cursor here to the very end of that line of pitch right here, and I play it, you'll see that there's not really any sound. So there's no S there ending. Now, in this next one, I've really exaggerated the S sound. Chairs. So we would never say it that strongly, but let me bring the cursor back here to the end of the vocal vibration, and let's see, do we hear an S? Definitely, we hear a clear S. So when I've exaggerated the S, we can definitely hear it and see that there is no vocal cord vibration. Okay, now the third time, I've recorded me saying chairs the way that it's more normal and conversational to say it. Let's listen. Chairs. So the question is, does that ending sound have a Z quality or is it an S quality? Do we have an S sound with no voice in it? Let's see. Yeah, we do. It's super fast though, isn't it? It's not S. That was so fast, so weak, but definitely not a Z. That's an S, a short, quick, weak S. That's the weak ending Z. So the way we actually pronounce case 2, S as a Z sound, is really an S, but a weak S, not a full S. Case 1, plurals are pronounced as an S, you make a clear S. Case 2, plurals are pronounced as a Z, but you make a weak S. Confusing, but true. The voiced ending Z sound is weak, so weak that it sounds like a weak S. By making the S really weak, it sounds like a Z in these endings. I know, it's crazy. Let me just say a few more of these plurals for you. Notice you're not hearing Z, a strong Z, or S, a strong S. Windows, foods, rooms. The ending is a very weak S without much air in it. So where does that leave us with case 3? We'll get to that in a second, but first a general note on weak ending sounds. This strong weak thing is true of all paired ending consonants. Let's take, for example, the word judge. It begins and ends with the J sound, J. The first one is more clear, the second one isn't because it's an ending J. J, judge. This ending is weak, especially if we compare it with the CH sound, the match, ch, ch. So the ending of judge isn't j, and it's not ch, it's ch, ch, ch. A really weak version of the unvoiced sound, the CH, judge. Let's talk about linking into another word. If the next word after these plurals begins with a Z, we link with one Z sound and it does sound like a full clear Z. For example, the car zipped along. Car zipped, strong Z, because it also begins the next word. Car zipped. The car zipped along. So there's no feel of the S in the plural ending here, just Z. But if the next word begins with an S, then you just hear a single S sound to link, no Z. For example, the cars stopped. Cars stopped. Just an S sound. Okay, case 3 for plural noun pronunciation. In case 3, we don't just add a sound, we add a syllable. It's unstressed and it's I-Z. You already know what I'm gonna say about that ending Z. It's a weak ending sound, so it's actually more like a weak S without Z, that vibration in the vocal cords. This ending is is. This is the plural pronunciation if the final sound of the noun is S, like base. Base becomes bases. We need to cover all our bases. Is. Weak ending sound. This is so similar yet different from the word basis. There, the ending sound is the S sound. It's a little stronger. Basis. So we have bases and basis. To make things extra confusing, the plural of basis is this word, spelled like the plural of base, but pronounced with an E vowel in the second syllable, bases. So the plural of base is bases, and the plural of basis is bases, spelled the same as bases, but pronounced slightly differently. Oh goodness. Our other ending sounds for case 3 are z, sh, zh, ch, and j. So rose, ending with the Z sound becomes roses, 2 syllables. Rash becomes rashes. Garage becomes garages. Batch becomes batches. And judge becomes judges. Just like in case 2, if we link into a Z, it sounds like a Z. The judges zoned out during the boring presentation. Judges zoned. Here we hear the Z. Z. Judges zoned. Judges zoned. If these words link into a word that begins with an S, we hear an S. Judges saw. Judges saw. The judges saw everything. There they are. Your 3 cases for pronouncing plural nouns. Case 1, the noun ends in one of these sounds and the plural is pronounced as an S. Case 2, the noun ends in one of these sounds and the plural is pronounced as an S, which is really more of a weak Z. Case 3, the noun ends in one of these sounds and we add is at the end of the word, another syllable, again with the weak ending Z, sounding like a weak S. Practicing the pronunciation of plural nouns, what could be more fun? Nothing, I think. Thank you so much for joining me here, and please do like the video and subscribe with notifications. We discuss interesting things about English, mostly American English pronunciation here on this channel every week, and I'd love to see you back. That's it, and thanks so much for using Rachel's English.